attention to the big developments that are taking place in West Asia, where 14 Syrian soldiers, including the Allied Iranian forces, are reported to have been killed in an early morning airstrike on a Syrian government airbase. The strikes targeted the Tayfur military airbase, which is also known as the T4, near Homs in Syria. Now, the missile strikes come after United States and France had vowed a joint response to a suspected chemical attack in eastern Ghouta. Meanwhile, the United States, interestingly, has denied carrying out any missile strike on a Syrian military facility. Now, according to a Syrian military official, air defenses shot down 8 missiles that were fired at the base, and analysts say that the airbase has a large deployment of Russian forces and where jets fly regular sorties to strike rebel-held areas. Now, the airbase is in a strategic desert area where Syria's main gas fields are located. The military airport had been under the control of the Islamic State terror group until the Syrian army and also its allies regained control last year after Russian military intervention. Now, in the month of April last year, the United States had fired at least about 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles at Syria's Shayrat military airbase after a chemical weapons attack at Khan Sheikhoun in the Idlib province. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by my colleague Daniele Pagani, who's been tracking the developments very closely for us. Daniele, good morning to you. It's an interesting bit of a development that has taken place in Syria, where just in the immediate aftermath of this alleged chemical attack that had taken place, which the United States had said will attract international action, what we see are these missile strikes. But also what is of more interest is that the United States has denied any involvement or of any knowledge of these airstrikes that have taken place on this military base in T4.
Yes, and for the time being, I have no reason whatsoever to doubt the United States version. Why would the Pentagon hide such a high-profile operation right in the aftermath of an alleged chemical attack?
Right.
It would have served perfectly the narrative of American troops defending the right to life and defending democracy in Syria, which is the version they have sold to the world. Then, if this is true or not, we can debate on that, obviously. So I don't think this is a U.S. military operation. I am left with bits of information that are coming in right now. We know that this was a Syrian government premise. We know that Iranian soldiers or military personnel or persons close to the Iranian military were inside this base, and some of them are among the casualties.
Right.
This makes us think that Israel could be behind this. Remember, the Israeli Defense Force never comment on any ongoing operation.
Absolutely, indeed. And also what's interesting is that this was an airbase that was under the control of the ISIS, and then with a bit of a Russian intervention, the Syrian forces of Bashar al-Assad were able to retake control of this airbase. Now, Daniele, if I can come to you on this. Now, it was only recently, just about, in the last 2-3 weeks, that Israel has accepted and conceded that in 2006, it had carried out an airstrike in Syria. What is Israel's stake in having carried out this sort of a military strike? If it is, because at this point of time it's all in the realm of speculation, why would Israel have to resort to something of this nature?
Israel has been very much involved in the Syrian war, and they are absolutely not hiding it. They very clearly said more than one time that they are attacking Iranian military premises being built inside Syria, weapon convoys, weapon warehouses and convoys belonging to the Shia militia Lebanese party, the Hezbollah, which is a staunch enemy of Israel. They have conducted, as per what is on the record or as per the open data that we in the media community have, more than 100 airstrikes inside the Syrian territories. I'm talking about the Israeli army conducting airstrikes inside Syria. They're fighting a parallel war in Syria. They're trying to contain Iranian influence and the power and the strength of Hezbollah, which often threatens them. So they also normally do not comment on any ongoing operation. They do not inform, and they do not necessarily claim what they do. You correctly pointed out that we just came to know that in 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, they conducted an airstrike against an alleged nuclear plant inside Syria. So there is the possibility that it was Israel to carry out this attack. perhaps because they identified Iranian military presence in this very base. But we need to be very clear, we are left with sketchy details, and this is an analysis we are doing and providing based on the little facts we know. We are not certain about this.
Right, and also, Daniel, very quickly, if it is the Israeli fingerprints that we see on this airstrike, and also considering the fact that the Russians have also been using this present airbase to carry out sorties and other operations, can we expect some sort of retribution from Russia?
I very much doubt so. No one has ever acted against the Israeli parallel war in Syria in the 8 years of operation, so I don't see why it should happen now until and unless some Russian military equipment or high-profile personnel has been actually hit, even though it doesn't seem so. And also, we don't know to what extent Russia was using this military base as of now. This is a detail we are missing. Russia has other fully functional and perfectly legal military bases in Syria. I'm talking about Latakia, for instance, and I'm talking about the port they have on the Mediterranean, from which they conduct more or less all their operations in the Syrian territory. So it's unclear what kind of presence Russia had in this base, and it's unclear if any sort of either Russian military presence, talking of human presence, or of weapons was actually hit. So I very much doubt that Russia will retaliate. They haven't done so in 8 years, so why should they start now attacking Israel either verbally or militarily for an operation they're conducting?